It's much easier to have
the online version. So I can do it all this way. So log on online. Yeah. And just save it as file. I love it. Like she's got
we got mail, intergovernmental agreement, police department, and Clearfield County, and they emailed us the next day and said, attached to 5
it happens. Like your haircut.
Probably don't want to ask. Or you don't want to mention it.
Yeah.
Surprise.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the August 2nd work session. Thank you very much for coming out tonight. Councilman Dimick is recovering from knee surgery, and rumor has it she will be here at the 7 p.m. meeting. So, roll call reflected all members present for the work session with the exception of her. At this time, I'll open the floor to any public comments. We'll get in. We do have some public hearings at the 7 o'clock meeting, so if you look at the agenda for the 7 p.m. meetings, anything you'd like to make a comment or ask a question on, feel free to do so at this time. And I'll start on my right-hand side of the room. My left, Beatrice.
Beatrice Golden Hayes, 2129 The Vista Circle. I have two questions, specifically not that many. About the agenda item regarding the stormwater utility. And I'd like to direct this please to you, Sir Alan Harmon.
Okay.
Mayor Harmon, because you have the authority and you have the expertise. You've been here longer than anybody on this whole council. 18, that's not old. You've been here about, I guess, 18 years, and so you know the history.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so I really kind of want to direct it to you. It says here in the background information that the city, it says for years, the city has failed to make investments in the needed infrastructure to properly manage and control runoff from stormwater. This ordinance recognizes the importance of controlling the effects of stormwater runoff throughout the city. Efforts to protect the public health, safety, environment, and general welfare require the construction, operation, and maintenance of Hapeville's stormwater facilities. So my question is, given the fact that it is important to protect our public health and safety and the environment, why did the city fail to make investments?
Well, I think the city, I can't say that I totally agree with the fact that we failed to make investments, but we failed to make some of the necessary investments just because of lack of funding. We have done several things to make improvements on stormwater, but we have needs right now. For example, the Development Authority has a piece of property on Willingham, and there's no stormwater capacity in that area. That's something with the cost of having to do that there would be no way for the city to do in the foreseeable future. So this is a stream of revenue to help us work on some of those areas that we haven't gotten to. because there are new mandates that come down, new federal mandates that come down about clean water and whatnot. And so there are several things that we would like to see improved in our stormwater system.
Sure, we all would, really. I was just wondering where the money was coming from, where the money comes from for the stormwater runoff.
It would be proposed based upon the fee. The ERU would be set at $350 per month.
Well, I guess I'm not very excited about having to pay a fee. I think should have been taken care of some time ago, but I think a lot of people are not going to be happy about that fee either. I know that it's needed, but I'm just wondering.
You know, the lion's share of this is probably going to be paid by the airport because they have so much runoff over from the airport area, and we'll capture a lion's share of our revenues from their operation.
Well, that would be helpful to us. I think if we definitely would cut our payment in half, if we could do that. I don't know if that's possible.
Well, I'm just saying, as it's proposed right now, a lot of the impervious surface that we're talking about, a lot of it is going to be related to some of the airport operations.
Okay, I would be happy about that. The second one I have is about the discussion of the building collapse over at the theater, and I just got a little alarmed because, and I know it says that you're kind of looking for input, approval, input, whatever, for the design process, but I'm just concerned that the Hapeville Academy Theater is going to go, that the Academy Theater is going to go away, and I don't want it to go away.
That's not my intention.
Okay. So what do you mean about, what are you building in terms of the site? Because I know they wanted to expand and do some things to make it a little bit more accessible in terms of having a front lobby and that.
I believe all that's spelled, we've got a lease agreement with Academy Theater,
Okay.
and I believe all that's spelled out in our lease.
Okay. Well, as long as, because a lot of people are coming now to the Academy Theater. We have set a precedent, actually, and there are people coming from everywhere. And it's people from Atlanta, people from further south of us, people from further north are even coming. So it's gotten to be quite popular. And I know there's this new play that's coming now, The Rooting Place. A lot of people know about it. It's all in the paper. It's getting quite a lot of publicity. So I'm hoping that the Academy Theater is not going to go away.
It's not that, certainly not our intention.
Okay, good. Thank you.
With the span of the theater, we're gonna need a strong system, no matter what it's used for, but especially for a theater to support the lights and the sound and the air conditioning and all these things. So our concerns are moving forward properly with that, because we're not really thrilled with what was going on before. And so I'm kind of glad to re-dig into this and make it safer. And I love the facade of the building, but that's all it can be. It can't, so we have to have a steel structure or something like that within. And I wanted to say something to your first statement. I think a lot of people, my heart goes out to people that really couldn't afford even $36, and that's realistic. And yet on my side of the spectrum, my house taxes went from $1,000 a year to nothing. So I can afford $36. Somehow I wish there was a fund for those that couldn't so that we could help them, and I'm serious in that. But yeah, I am lucky, and when I sell my house, it'll help Hapeville, it'll go back up. But in my situation, as from what I see from the tax digest, most people's have cut in half over the last few years, and so the 36 doesn't seem huge in light of that. But for those that are having challenges, I'd love for us to be able to figure out a way to put our hearts together and support those that it really would be a crunch for.
Well, yeah, I'm really hoping that your home is able to work out something with the airport. That would be great if they could pick up a lot of that.
Well, they'll pick it up, but I think
They'll
they'll
pick it
all
up
still
under
be
the context of
contributing.
where we're at now.
They'll have a larger portion, but that
Okay.
wouldn't negate the
It would- yeah, it wouldn't
$36.
be, right.
Mine,
Okay.
it's $42.
42,
Okay.
both going up.
Well, it's $3.50 a month, that comes,
Okay.
he was thinking $3 a month.
Next week it'll be 50 something.
It'll be
Oh,
48.
please don't.
No, I'm serious. I mean, I look at Jane Gunter back there and I think, well, wish there was a way that we could find out who that really couldn't afford this so we could help them. I'd be all for it.
Well, I really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Thank you. Are there any other comments? Yes? Marcia?
Marcia, do I say Marcia
Okay.
Lambert?
You have to hold the microphone right up under your chin, green light on.
Marcia, green light on?
Green light on.
Marcia Lamb, 3343 Northside Drive, Hapeville. I just want to ask about that same ordinance, Stormwater Utility. My husband told me to ask, are we paying that for the rest of the time we live in Hapeville?
That would depend upon what future councils want to do with it. You know, it might be a situation where we're able to, after a few years, take another look at it. But in the foreseeable future, I would say yes, but anything that we do can be undone. So if another council comes on and they want to look at it and go, it can always be removed or lessened or increased or whatever, so.
So that'll be about 10 years down the
I can't. I said I had a crystal ball one time, and that was a big mistake. So.
Do many of your other fees get canceled? Doesn't happen that often. I'd love to see if we had a windfall to lower millage rate down the road, but we have to wait till we have increases.
All right, any other comments on all that? All right, then we'll get into an informal discussion of agenda items. And on our public hearings, we have the first, we have to have 3 hearings to set the millage rate. So we have a public hearing, first of 3 tonight, to set the millage rate at 16.61 mils. In conjunction with that, we needed a fairly significant piece of equipment in our fire department, and through his expertise and experience with other municipalities, our city attorney, Mr. Fincher, brought us an idea that they use in College Park, where they create a special tax district. So we created a special tax district for buildings 4 stories and above that would need the use of a ladder truck, because if we didn't have buildings 4 stories and above, we wouldn't need a ladder truck. So we created a 1 mil tax on that, and that generates $90,000 a year, and that is enough for us to make the payments on our ladder truck. So some very creative financing. So while we're setting the millage rate, we'll also have to set the millage rate at 1 for that special tax district.
Is that something we have to do every year, Steve? Okay.
Well, create the district one time, set the millage rate every year.
Every-
just like
We
you
should
said.
raise it or lower it.
Correct.
Okay. So it's just something that we just do every year
Right.
till the truck's paid?
Yes, yep.
Okay.
Well, they'll be time.
And then we have the long-lived extended stay ordinance that we've talked about many times. Actually, a recommendation of staff is to table this yet again until Tuesday, August 16th at 7 p.m., but we'll get to that when we're in the process of having that conversation. Then the next item is the stormwater utility that we just kind of covered some during the citizen comments portion. And then the building collapse on the 597 North Central Avenue, known as the former hardware store, future Academy Theater. So, Steve, you have any comment on that from the legal wranglings, because this is taking a while for us to get to this point?
Yes, sir. I was expecting to give details to Mayor Council executive session, but what I can tell you is that the lawyers are arguing over the release language.
Okay.
I've actually got the check in my drawer,
Okay.
but I'm supposed to hold it until we sign the documents.
All right.
Now, we've been arguing for a while, and I'll give you all the details in executive session.
Okay. All right, thank you.
We can't cash it and y'all figure it out later.
Steve, can we get an
You
advance on
got it in
that?
your drawers.
You can give us an advance, right?
Any other comments or questions on that? We'll get into more formal discussion of that at the 7 p.m. meeting.
Yeah, guess we can talk about it more.
All right, then we have, under new business, we have consideration to enter an agreement with Kaboom. That's the playground grant we talked about a few months back. We were actually awarded that grant, and we're very excited that Target has chosen to be our corporate partner for that, and this will be the playground to be constructed over near the, it's over near the health center on, the old health center building on Keelan.
In Master Park.
In Master Park in that area, so. Any questions on that? Any comments on that?
So Ally, did you go up for that grant, or how'd that work?
Yeah, and Todd really helped.
Okay, awesome. This is really exciting.
Yeah.
So I was reading the documents, I guess. So with the 8,500, we're expected to get 10 times that, right? So that's $85,000 grant. That's pretty good. That's a nice playground. It's a really nice playground.
But like I say, if you study what Kaboom's done in other communities, they've really made a major impact with their presence. And as I said before, we were talking about this, they're looking for the community buy-in, they're looking for the community involvement, they're looking for volunteers, they're looking for children that'll be using the playground, their parents. So this is not just to come in and do it while everybody's sleeping kind of thing. They want hands-on, knees in the mud participation. So I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be great. I think it's going to be great for the city. Then the next item we have is action on expenditure of $9,502.50 to Municipal Code Corporation, lovingly referred to as MuniCode. That will allow us to get our code of ordinances through 2016-12. This is supplement number 7 for the code contract. Any questions or comments on that?
I do have a question. What's
Yeah.
supplement number 7 mean? Does that just mean the 7th time we've done it?
Yes, ma'am.
But it'll be the whole code all together? Okay.
Because right now, when you go, you'll have recently passed ordinances. That just means they haven't been codified into the official code yet, so. All right, and then the next item we have is a moratorium on probation and bail bonds. It came to our attention that ordinance provisions concerning uses such as pawnbrokers, check cashing outlets, probationary officers, and bail bondsmen may not be sufficiently protected of the community and the investment being made by commercial property owners. So this is something that we want to take a look at our ordinance and modernize and refresh. So the way to do that is to pass a moratorium that freezes anybody from trying to come in and establish that. So any questions or comments on that?
How long does the moratorium last? Is it 6 months usually?
126 days in this case.
Okay. Not
And
127.
It could be, yeah, that's correct, 126.
So we always do it so that it ends the day after the meeting.
Okay.
So that if it needs to be extended, we can extend it.
Correct.
Okay.
That's why the odd number.
Okay.
Just the timing's poor, just when I thought I was gonna need a bail box. I got several suits already.
Thank you. All right, and the next item is consideration action to enter into a cooperation agreement with Airport West Community Improvement District. Council approved the bond not a bond resolution, but a resolution 2016-08 appointing Joe Falls as our representative on the newly formed and expanded Community Improvement District operating in parts of the city. There's an MOU, it's a standard agreement between CID and the city to clarify roles and responsibilities. So does anybody have any questions or comments on that item?
So I have a question. Where it says the things that the CID can be in charge of, one of them is streets, road construction, maintenance, curbs, sidewalks. So can they come in and start building roads and that kind of stuff without our permission?
No.
Steve?
Go ahead, Steve.
Yeah, but that's an amendment that we added over on the College Park side. We're gonna add an amendment on this side that says they can't touch our assets without our consent.
Okay, yeah, because I don't want them to be in charge of roads over there.
Not without our consent.
Yeah, they want to pave and we know about it and we're good with it.
Now, they could build their own road,
Okay,
but I doubt they could do such a thing.
so they can have a little toll road between.
No, nobody's ever done that.
No, we're gonna add a clause to the contract that says that we can't touch any of our assets without our consent.
Okay, because it also says parks, recreation, so they can't
All-
go into our parks and just
Not without-
bulldoze this nice kaboom playground that we just put up and, okay.
They also have agreed that to use the College Park model. They sent over, the one they sent over, if you noticed in your packet, was signed and had different language, and Steve has reviewed it, and he's gonna tweak it and add the language, and they've agreed to that in principle, so it's just a matter of us signing it and sending it back to them for reactions.
Cool. All right, any other questions on that? No. All right. Well, that is all of the agenda items for the 7 p.m. meeting.
There will be an executive session.
Right, we do have executive session, correct. And we have some years of service recognitions tonight, and pins to go with them.
Yes.
There you go. All right, next item is city manager report, so William.
Push the button. Okay.
Okay. Just wanted to give you a brief highlight. And I always feel bad about doing this because Ally does all the real work. But the Aerotropolis board met last week, and they had a really good session. And the next regular board meeting is the 30th, but they're going to have a work session, a work planning session on the 22nd at Woodward Academy, and it's going to be a 5-hour deal. So we'll need to get with you, Mayor, and kind of prepare for that. They basically received reports on the workforce issues they have going on. There are various subcommittees that they've divided up into. One of them is workforce, the other one is marketing. Ally's been doing a lot of work in the marketing group. The Blueprint Committee wrapped up their work, and there's going to be conversations about how we take the blueprint and move it forward, which is probably what the planning session's all about on the 22nd. And then they are basically went over a report where they went to another Aerotropolis and brought back, some best practices. There was a trip to Dallas the year before they had gone to Paris or Amsterdam, where that airport was. So the work is coming along. It's gaining a lot of momentum, and we've been tasked to jump in and help out a little bit with a kind of, if you recall, the Biz Now project. We're also going to have kind of a Biz Now type of project for commercial realtors to come in, because there is a lot of interest in what's going on with the Aerotropolis. So it's building momentum, building interest, building focus, and there's a lot of moving parts to it, and it continues to build, and kind of excited to be a part of it.
Yeah, I heard about it on the radio this morning. They were talking about it. So it was exciting.
William, Joe Foles is hugely involved with that, as well as the CID, to make sure all this works together.
Yes, Joe is the past chairman, and he sits on the board still. Pedro Cherry with Georgia Power is the new chair, but they work hand in glove, and yeah, we all talk quite a bit. And in fact, Joe is, I'm trying to get on his calendar now for an update on a few things, so it's really quite a unique effort.
Thank you.
The next item I have is, don't want to steal any of the chief's thunder, but we basically have moved forward on the idea that you approved of having the first National Night Out, and that's coming up this week. And Mayor, I'll give you the first one. This is the blue light bulb.
Blue light,
be
cool.
handing out.
Thank you very much.
We have a little over 200 of those to hand out Thursday night to the public. And we'll ask people to put those on their front porch as a symbol of unity with the police department and the community. So we're excited about that, and Rick can tell you all the plans they have for Thursday night. It's going to be pretty cool. So
Awesome.
that sums up my report, unless you have any other questions.
Questions? William?
You said that was the 22nd was the work session?
Yes, ma'am.
22nd.
Yes, ma'am. All right, we'll get into our departmental updates. Recreation, Todd, I'll start with you.
Thank you, sir. Just want to remind everyone that our first Downtown Live concert is coming up in a couple of weeks, August. August the 19th. I'm trying to get to Christmas already. August the 19th, that's our first one with a jazz and seafood thing. So hope to see everybody out there.
Awesome, thank you.
Oh, and tell them about you just wrapped up camp.
Yes, we did. Yes, we did. We just wrapped up summer camp, and our building was so quiet yesterday. Today. You know, I love to hear, the pitter patter of the feet, but after 2 months of 7:30 in the morning to like 6 o'clock in the evening, just nonstop, it's well-deserved quiet. And it's only for a week though, because school starts next month.
That's right, there you go. Gotta have a little calm before the storm.
Yes.
Thank you. Community service, we're gonna skip around tonight. Lee?
Yes, sir, Mayor, we had a tree fall today on Coleman Street. Thankfully, no one was injured, but it did hit a water valve, and still got a few folks that are waiting for the water to be turned on, so the guys are over there working right now trying to get that restored.
Did our tree whisperer predict it?
No. Unfortunately not.
David, fire department?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, we had 19 pre-fire plans completed this month, 43 fire inspections, 3 new construction sites viewed, 4 plan reviews, 87 blood pressures, 135 emergency calls responded in the month of July, still under 3 minutes response time.
You got your blood pressure gear with you tonight?
We get it here in less than 3 minutes, so.
I'm entering my 4th week, cigarette free, so I would like to. Because my doctor said, you need to quit, because your blood pressure's high.
Because we need
And then they said something about my expanding waistline. So,
Yeah.
I'm just
Yeah,
curious.
I read that about you.
I'm just curious if you have.
I think Xanax maybe.
I'm just curious if it's had an effect. I bet it has, but, all right, cool. Jennifer, city clerk?
Yes, sir, we have 2 pending alcohol applications. One is for the King Cigar Lounge and the other is for the Craft Spot. They're both located over at 1155 Virginia Avenue.
Awesome, very good.
Where's 1155 Virginia?
It's where the Irish Bread
Irish
Pub
Bread.
is.
Oh, okay.
All right, David?
You probably all know this now, it's posted, but just to make sure everybody knows, the first gallery crawl is delayed until September 10th. We wanted to make sure the alley would be done. There were some utility issues, and so we just decided to put it off to September 10th to not be stressed or worried. And I just want to thank Lee for all the work he's done on getting that alley done, because it's a pain when you're doing something that's that old that you're trying to redo, and there are always unknowns. And so I'm sure it's frustrating for him, so I just appreciate the work that he's doing on that, and we wouldn't have that great thing if he wasn't doing that. So that will be September 10th, and I actually think it'll be better, it'll be a little bit cooler when we start. And so far, everybody I've talked to who was going to be there on the 10th can move to in August can move to September, so I don't think we've lost anything from doing that. And then the only major thing I'll bring up, and again, this is still fairly early, but just one because it was exciting, I bring it up to you, that meeting tomorrow with some grocery store folks. So I always work on that, and this is a contact that I've worked with for a couple of years, and he seems to be getting interested now because of all the new mixed-use developments we're getting, and he's an independent, it's not one of the chains, so he was bringing other people, and so I kind of decided to clarify who is he bringing, and it turned out, he said his suppliers, and it turned out it's the owners of a family-owned grocery supply company that supplies 200 stores and have 30 of their own. And he said they might be not only the supplier but an investor in it. So if they wanted to do it and they were sold on it. So anyway, I'm meeting them and giving the grand tour tomorrow. So y'all keep your fingers crossed that that continues to move forward.
Very good.
When is that meeting? Tomorrow?
Tomorrow, yeah.
Rick, police department?
Thank you, Mayor. Yeah, we're waiting on our patrol cars. We were hopeful that we would have them in to show you all tonight, but they're stalled right now in equipment. So hopefully by the next meeting, we'll have something that we can bring and show you. Last week, I attended some mandatory training that was successful. It was good. And as William said, we're looking forward to our first annual National Night Out. So we plan to have some food, maybe some hot dogs and things for people to come by and join us and, you know, just spend some time in camaraderie. So it should be fun.
Look forward to it. Thank you, Chief. Legal, Mr. Fincher?
Nothing except for executive session.
Thank you, sir. Bill Johnston, Planning and Zoning.
Mayor, we have come to the system, going to Planning Commission first, and then Mayor and Council, application for a conditional use permit at 1155 Virginia Avenue, the application for a parking lot. Call.
All right. Ally O'Brien, Economic Development.
Thank you, Mayor. We had a merchant mixer last week at Red Coffee in College Park. We had a few of our Hapeville businesses out, so that was a good event. And we will have the next one in East Point. It'll be TBD, so we'll let you know when that's coming up. I just wanted to let you know we have our first date for the South Arts Film Series. It's going to be September 23rd. And we've gotten all the marketing materials, so we're going to start working on press releases and all that for the South Arts Film Series. And then, kind of not stepping on anybody else's toes, but since nobody else mentioned it yet, the 125 committee has the mural project coming up. That mural is going to be the Go Georgia Arts mural on the rec center. And there's going to be a call for volunteers, Volunteer Day on Saturday, August 13th. And you can contact John Christian for that. That's it.
Thank you. Council, Mike, we got anything? Chuck?
Not really.
Alderman Barr? All right. Thanks for coming out tonight, folks, and get a little break between meetings. That's unusual. But, well, with that being said, I'll entertain a motion. We adjourn our work session. Second. All in favor, raise your right hand. All opposed, same sign. We stand adjourned.